Hey, this is Courtney, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about the difference in opening a studio, renting space, and working for someone else. And primarily, I want to focus on renting space to teach or collaborating. I get this question, I've had this question 3 or 4 times this week. I get it all the time, especially for people who've been out for a while and they're teaching and they want to make a living or at least a part time living off of teaching. And so I want to talk to you about the difference. Working for someone else, you're generally going to make a flat fee and you're not going to have as much control. Having a studio is very costly. It costs a ton of money. There's a lot of things you have to think about. You can't just go and use a empty building and say, well, I'm just using this place. This is our meetup place, and not call it a studio or a brick and mortar business, because technically the powers that be are going to look at that. Sorry, I live on a farm. It is noisy. The powers that be are going to look at that as a business, and you're going to end up paying, you're going to have to buy insurance, not just your own liability insurance, but insurance on the brick and mortar building. It's not as easy as it sounds, and you'll set off a series of um, business expenses, from the tax assessor to the fire department to the business licensing people. It's going to be different in every place, but I learned this from having a studio, and from all the people I've trained that have had studios, and from all the people I know that have studios. I've been in this business almost 20 years. Believe me, I'm not trying to burst anybody's bubble who wants to own a studio. If you are at a stage in your life where you want to take that on and you want to hire people, even, whatever level, that's great. I'm more power to you. This is for people who are in that place where they're like, I want to make more money. I want to work on my own. I don't want to work for other people, but I don't really know that I want to own a studio either. And so many times people call me and they're like, this person has this empty building and we just thought we would use it to have classes. It doesn't work like that. There are laws and stuff that you're going to have to follow if you do that. Now, there's one way that you can oftentimes work this out, and you're going to need to check with the rules and regulations of your city. Every city probably has different rules and regulations, but collaborating with a like-minded business. So, for instance, counseling center, dance studio, pain management clinic, hospital, doctor's office. I collaborate with my teacher training. I rent space in a counseling center. They offer yoga and meditation. So once a month for 2 days, I rent space and I hold my teacher training there. Sometimes I barter, for tuition or things like that. In Hot Springs, I rented space and offered one class a week. So I was in the city. They offered Tai Chi, dance, all kinds of things. So I wasn't actually having a business, so to speak. I was just offering a class there once a week. So collaborating. I have a friend who specializes in a therapeutic type of yoga. She's not a yoga therapist, but the type of yoga that she teaches is very therapeutic. She works with a lot of people who have limited abilities due to pain or physical illness going on, or emotional issues. And so she's collaborating with a counseling center as well, teaching chair yoga and gentle yoga. So think about, have a conversation. And so you might want to go into, how can we help each other? Like, as a yoga teacher, I don't make a lot of money. It depends on who shows up. Could I pay you a percentage or a flat fee to use your space at these times, or so many hours per week? Don't forget to add in coming and going time. You don't want to just have the 1 hour you teach. You need time to show up, set up, clean up, and close up. So think about that, and then say, in return for you giving me space, or at a reasonable fee, I will promote and list your business in my social media, in my website, and then I would call yourself, like, I would be Courtney Butler Robinson Yoga. And the only reason I use the Butler is because I have books and a lot of information out there with my former name on it. So I just got remarried. But I have Courtney Robinson Yoga. I bought the domain name. I have it linked to my website for Balance Yoga and Wellness, which was my brick and mortar business. Balance Yoga and Wellness is a mobile business. I am the mobile business. So I am Courtney Butler Robinson, doing business as Balance Yoga and Wellness, and I travel and teach. But I run all the admin in this office, in my house. And so I am not actually a brick and mortar anywhere, so to speak. I've done so many jobs in the yoga world. I have worked for studios, I have worked for a college, I have worked for gyms, I have been self-employed for a long, long time. And I can tell you by far the least stressful thing I have done is being a mobile business. So it's still, you need to be consistent and show up constantly, and you need to be in one place for maybe a year or two. I'll give you an example. I have a teacher that I trained about not quite 2 years ago. She got out of school, they wanted extra land, and a house came for sale next to them. They bought this little house. It wasn't terribly expensive, but they didn't want anybody to come in and build next to them. And she offers 3 classes a week. It took a while. At first, 3 or 4 people were showing up, but as she consistently stayed on top of it and taught, she's full now. And so she charges about $10 a person. We're in an area where it can't sustain much more than that. I know it's as much as 20 in metropolitan areas. And her classes are pretty full. One class may be full, one class may have about half the people, and then another class she teaches in town where she rents space, the one I used to do, it's usually does pretty good. So she's making pretty decent money now teaching in that way, where if she owned a studio, she would have so many more expenses. Her house is not in the city limits, it's out in the county where it doesn't go under those rules and regs. So think long and hard about just thinking, I'll just go get space, because unless you're out of city limits, you're probably going to be subject to a lot of expenses that you didn't think of, and it's just not that easy. So I hope this was helpful to somebody, and if you're interested in coaching and consulting, my rates are very reasonable. I love to help yoga teachers and yoga students and yoga therapists and yoga studio owners and school owners. My website is balanceyogaandwellness.com, or you can put CourtneyRobinsonYoga.com and it should lead you there. Most of the time, if you put my name in a search engine with the word yoga, you'll find all kinds of stuff to lead you to me. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.